It's hard getting shows, man. People don't realise. Believe me, I have to fight for every show. Tomorrowland, I had to pull a few strings to get on it again. Creamfields, I had to again pull a few strings to get on it. In music, there's a lot of kind of snobbery around, and there's a lot of kind of pretentiousness around certain types of underground dance music, where it's frowned upon for you to kind of collaborate with the bigger artists. Anything is possible if you believe and you think you can do it. And so I want to convey that to people. The people who do the best are the people who do things that are authentic to themselves. The goal's got to be happy doing it, get people to like what you do, and kind of achieve something doing what you like. Grow your fan base. Fan bases win. Look at Fish Octagon. It's nothing to do with production talent. It's energy and it's growing your fan base. The biggest advice is to grow your fan base no matter what. And then while you're doing that...
Welcome back to the Off the Record DJ podcast. In the building, Chapter and Verse. A year ago, yes, we did a podcast together that, let's say, broke the internet is a bit of a millennial phrase, isn't it? But it basically, across all platforms, did over about 500,000 views. And people just really resonated with your who you are, the way you speak. And still to this day, right, people are asking, are talking about that interview last year. How are you?
Fantastic. I've had like two and a half weeks off shows, so I'm feeling great. Yeah. I'm all smoothed up. Do you know what I mean?
What's happened since the last time you did up this podcast? It's been a journey, right? So you've been to, more recently, you've just done an Asia tour. You've been to North America. You've been doing shows left, right, and centre. What a insane 365 days since we sort of did a podcast.
I kind of like. I wrote it then, if you know what I mean. I already said what I was going to do the next sort of 12 months. And one big thing about this is you've got to do what you say you're going to do, you know.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people resonate, because what you say is happening. It's happening. You know, when you speak to someone, you go, how are you? And they go, great, I'm doing this, and this, but nothing's actually really going on. You just don't get that with you.
Yeah, I've been really busy, but you know, with me, I always find a way to I kind of like preempt it and say, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and that kind of puts me under enough pressure to make sure that I do it, because I don't want to be the kind of guy that's like, oh, he says he's going to do this, he's doing that, and he's not done any of it. You know, so I keep working, I keep grafting. You know, I'm like Loz, I'm still always bang at it. You know,
last year you did like over 30 million streams. You just hit like over 100,000 on Instagram. You're doing some DJ competition ministry sound. We're going to get all into it. But yeah, since over the last sort of year or so, the tracks that have really blown up, you've done tracks with sort of Dimitri, you're really tight with that sort of group as well. What has been sort of the standout stuff over the last year since we sort of last spoke on his podcast?
I've kind of like tried to, in the past, I've always tried to like reference what was hot. These days, I try to like do what I like with people that I've kind of become connected with for whatever reason or another. You know, in music, there's a lot of kind of snobbery around, and there's a lot of kind of false, how do I put it, pretentiousness around certain types of underground dance music, where it's frowned upon for you to kind of collaborate with the bigger artists, you know, like Stevie Aoki, Dimitri, etc. But believe me, if you get a chance, do it, because you know that ultimately they are the big stage. They are the big stage DJs. So I've always had that in mind. I've always been like, whatever, I'll be doing this, you know, because I believe it's the way to go, not to you know, like rule people out because it's not deemed as.
Yeah.
Cool.
Why is the kind of snobbery, like you put it? Is it just like clicks are trying to support clicks, and why do you think that's still happening? Is that just?
I think it's just generally. I think in music it is very clicky, but also it's kind of like the underground people want to keep it underground, and if it gets too overground, it's not underground anymore. It's kind of like an ongoing battle. You know, easy to. You know, I was supposed to do a show somewhere. They said, "Oh, we're not going to let you do it because you did a collaboration with Steve Aoki." I'm just like, what?
Really?
Like, I'm like, what? Like, what's that got to do with my music, man? Like, what's the fact that I did something with Steve Aoki?
Yeah.
But you know, that song and that connection I have with Steve rewards me in a million ways, as opposed to I get one person that says, "Oh, we're not going to do it because you've gone with Steve Aoki." It's all like they're trying to keep it always too. You know, it's not cool enough for us. It's not, you know, it's not underground enough for us. So whatever.
We were having a bit of a chat just before this, and you were mentioning about how it's always important for you to just like to be yourself. So like you say, if you don't like a song, you're not going to play it just because it's one of your mates' songs, or you're not going to play it because you're doing this type of show or that kind of show. Is that still just how you operate?
I think what I've learned is Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to get on somebody else's boat. Don't just play the stuff that's hot. Don't make the stuff that's hot. Use your taste. Use what you like. Connect with the people that you want to be connected with, but don't let any outside forces affect what you're doing yourself. Because by doing that, you stay authentic and sustainable. You cannot sustain something that isn't real. So if you this week say, I like this because it's hot, I like this because it's hot, there's no identity there. There's no sustainability there. So...
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it comes across, and I think that's why, there's a difference between growing an audience on social media and having fans. But I think one way that you connect to fans, the people who are going to buy music, buy tickets at shows. You were voted in the top 50 1001 track list producers in it, and that's from your peers. And I think that because you're so direct and you're very honest all the time, people just gravitate towards that, as opposed to just being a bit like wishy-washy, buy my tune, wishy-washy.
I definitely think that I've seen fan bases come and go quickly. I've seen people have massive songs and then not back it up because they haven't got it's not really them, it's just one song they've got. So the way I do it is to try to sustainably grow, keep growing, keep attracting the right kind of people. I don't change what I do to try and attract more people. I do what I feel, I do what I feel is right, and I do what I like. And by that, I attract the right people to me who are going to stay, And if I'm authentic, people connect with me, then they connect with me and they stay.
Yeah.
If I'm just doing like a random TikTok or a fake whatever, a fake song. Or, if you want, I can go and make you 10 Afro House songs tomorrow, right? I can go and do that, right?
Yeah.
I could put them out and I could get fans from Afro House, right? Yeah. But I don't like it. I don't want to do it, and therefore it's not authentic, and therefore I don't believe those people would stay because they're liking me for something that's not really me, You know what I'm saying? That's an example.
I get it. Yeah, you could go make Afro House and go DJ on a V10. And
exactly. I could go make Minimal House, DJ on a V10, play 6 tracks at once if you want, because they're all just about the same, But I don't want to do that. It's not my thing,
The last time you came on, the reason why our last conversation sort of went viral, it's a very compelling story, how you started, later in life, late 30s, and then, you're doing big shows, Ushuaia, Tomorrowland and stuff by age 40. I think the narrative has moved on a lot now because you have been in the scene for a while, and that has kind of got, now it's about sustaining where you are and going to that next level. And I think one thing, we spent time at Tomorrowland with mates off camera, but one thing with you is you're very aware of that output is the only thing that really matters, and it's almost like if you're constantly doing output, it's just a matter of time when something happens. Do you think that a lot of, I guess, up and coming producers or just producers in general get stuck on just the, I guess, perfection, or they get rejected and they slow down a little bit, whereas you're just like, whatever, next, on to the next one?
I think people strive for perfection in everything that they do. So and if when you're a DJ, it's very forward. It's a very customer. Customers always watching you. People are always watching you. You're very, there for the world to see, and it's very difficult. But one thing I can say is, if you keep going at it, put yourself out there, you will attract the right kind of people. Yeah, and that's the people that you want, because they're the people that are going to stay ultimately.
Give us a snapshot into your how much you're putting out there. I mean, you were showing me your text this morning.
But listen. So the fact of the matter is, you're going to go in studio and I went to studio last week 2 days. I told you earlier, 2 days I got nothing. Yeah, nothing. I'm thinking I've got nothing. Yeah, have I got nothing left? You know what I mean? I went today for an hour, got something good. Yeah, it's just a question of any doubt, any problems that you have, any issues, forget about them. Carry on. Forget about them. It doesn't matter. No one cares. It doesn't make any difference. And and then when you do get something good, kind of try to use that to try and propel yourself even further. You've got to get the negativity away. Any negativity you've got about yourself, people aren't listening, or no one's going to take notice of me, or whatever, or my stuff's not good enough to put out there. Any negativity will basically lead into total failure before you even start. Yeah,
it's a skill, isn't it? It's like I think a lot of people look from outside and just think they're either super talented, super lucky, or a mixture of both. Whereas actually, sometimes the real skill is, like you say, when you've spent 2 days and you got nothing. The actual skill then is to sleep on it and go again.
Well, it's a mindset, and it's a frame of mind. Yep. And then when you become kind of powerful in your mind to be able to get the negativity and get rid of it. It's hard, man. It's hard for everybody. I send out demos every week. I keep my toe in every week. I send demos to all the big labels, to Spinning, to Ultra, to Sony, Ministry of Sound, to all the big labels, right? Every single week. And they normally say no.
There we go.
Not even 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, they normally say no. But I say, all right then. And I've got one of them.
I'll see you next week.
And I've got one of them, and I swear, I can show you on my phone now. And I reply in the same way. I don't go, oh, well, you're wrong. Right? I don't go, oh, you're not, it's not. That's not, the song's good and you're not doing the right. All I reply to him is saying, thank you very much, as always.
Boom.
I keep the door open with all the labels all the time. And that's my kind of comfort blanket, that I know I can connect to all the labels. Getting into them in the first place is difficult, but if you can get into them and then stay, keep sending them demos, eventually they will give in. Eventually they're giving. Everybody does, honestly. Eventually they give in. I've sent... like Spinning hundreds, and
how many have you had out from Spinning?
2 or 3.
There you go.
I've sent them hundreds, and I mean hundreds. I send demos every week and they go, not for me, buddy, not for me. It's down to a lot of different things, but have you
just learned to take the personal aspect out of it? And
I just send them. It's like, to me, it's a pure kind of like, I've got to be better. It's not down to them, it's down to me. If I'm sending them demos, they're saying no, then I've got to sit back and say, why are they saying no? What's wrong? Is my fan base not big enough? I'll grow my fan base. If my music not good enough, I'll learn more. And my sample choice not good enough, I'll change my rationale behind it. But ultimately, everything's down to me, not down to anybody else, down to me. If I don't get on the label, that's because of me. It's not down to them, they're not wrong. It's me that's not doing my job properly. I need them to take it. So I've got to make sure I make it impossible for them to say no,
I love that. I think everyone has a bit of a different love for something. So we've had a lot of big DJs on podcasts now, James, we've had Tool Room and stuff like that. Some people love the art, some people love the live show, some Mark Knight, he loves the business. What is it that you love about the day-to-day? Do you love the feeling of the finished tune at the show? Do you love the warning 100 text that you get? Yeah, we're going to sign it. Do you love connecting with other DJs? Is it a whole thing? But have you got something?
Well, there's a lot of things, but for me, it's the validation, the fact that what I'm doing is authentic. I get a lot of people message me saying, "Oh yeah, we love your energy and all that sort of thing," and that's the thing that I do it for. So whether that comes from somebody with 10 million followers or 20 followers makes no difference to me. Everyone's equal as far as I'm concerned. I don't differentiate between people. But what I will say is that when I do a good one, I know. Like I said to you earlier, I can just tell. Because I can just tell, that gives me this is what everything that I do up until today is what I'm working for today. So everything in the past is done. I start today every day from scratch. Every day is new. Every day is from scratch, and I can't go backwards because I've done nothing. That's how I look at it. So, do I love doing shows? Yes. The energy I get to people? Yes. Is every show great? No. Most shows are, do I love releasing music? Yes. Are they all great? No. Some are. It's a kind of it's a really mixed bag of mashings. But, I'm lucky to do what I do, and, I'm lucky to have an impact on a certain amount of people that I've created a community in my Instagram as such, and I'm lucky to be able to do that. And kind of I do feel like it makes, gives people a bit of hope of what I've done, and that hope is something they can hold on to, and that does them, helps them grow and helps them do something, which from my perspective is good.
I do think that you really love people. You love interacting with people. I spent the week with you at Tomorrowland, and then just on Instagram, you reply to 99% of people, and you're always willing to give up your time and go speak to somebody for 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is. Do you think that's one of your strengths as well? I
just think that I want, and no matter what I achieve, no matter what level I get to, I want people to know that I am like a normal individual. Right? Well, I'm not, and I am. I'm a normal individual, and it's kind of like anything is possible if you believe and you think you can do it. And so I want to convey that to people, and I never want to. A guy messaged me this morning from Cream, right? Believe it or not, and he said, "Oh, will you come and play with us? Your fee's going to be a lot bigger." I said, "No, it won't." No, it won't. How come you give me? I got one of my first shows with Cream in Birmingham. And I said, no, it won't. Bro, if it is what it is, if you can't afford to pay me or whatever, then I will do it for whatever you can afford to do. It'll never be about the money for me. It'll never be. I'd never let the money stop me doing it, because it's only, what difference does it make me going to Birmingham for a few hours? And what can I get out of it? I get good social media. I can get some good connections out of it, and I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like the energy surrounding it's done correctly, and therefore, that'll come back to me.
Yeah. I love that. I love paying back and giving opportunity. One thing you've done recently is you launched a DJ competition with Ministry of Sound. I think they're giving you your own show. So
they didn't have a choice, to be fair.
Tell us the story, because I've not spoke to you about it.
So what happened is I thought to myself, I saw a lot of DJs and a lot of like lineups being the same all the time. Yeah, so same DJs, same lineups, same management, same cliques. You know, and I thought to myself, you know what? No one's getting a chance who's normal, right? So no one's getting a chance who's normal. Once upon a time, I had a chance, and I looked at that poster. I did my first show in Medusa, actually. I just looked at it. I was in the tiniest writing, playing the first 40 minutes. Yeah. You know, well, I've made the most out of that, really, I've done, which I'll come on to in a bit. But I wanted to try and take some of the people that I've got that support me and try and kind of put them in a place where they've got an opportunity. So it was important to me that I pick some people that have not done it before, and that have been in circumstances where they're not been able to do it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So I just wanted to give something back, really, genuinely. You know, I took that they didn't offer me any money to do it. I have to pay them out of my own money. So so basically the deal was, this is the fee that we're going to give you. I said, all right, well, I'll give it away. because for me it's worth a lot more to give something back, and I go on about energy, but it's the good energy and the good karma is worth it more to me. You know, and the people going, all right, he's trying to do something, but legitimately I'm not saying, oh, what am I getting out of it? Financially, nothing, because it's costing me money. You know, but it's good because what I've got, well, first I put the competition up. I never even asked them. Right, so I put it up and said, right, I'm gonna.
So did you have a show first?
I had one show,
yeah,
and I thought, right, I'm going to put them on that show, and I'll find a way once I've got them on that show, right? And then Ryan from Louder messaged me, he's like, "What are you going to do that this way?" I said, "Right, I need 4 spots, not one, and I ideally need a night." Like at Ministry of Sound, where I can, you know,
did like 10,000 people enter or something?
I got a lot of people entering, but you know what? It was very humbling that so many people. Yeah. I don't like, you know, it's difficult for me because I don't want to sit there and play God and go, right, you can do it. No, it's difficult, but I pick people based out of like what I saw energy wise, not because, and I purposefully did not pick anyone that I know.
Yeah.
No, what because if I pick someone that I know, the politics, then
bit that's of a bias.
Well, if I pick someone that I know, then I'm going against everything what I disagree with, because that's political.
Sure.
If I pick someone and go, all right, well, Loz, you can do it, or whatever, I know you. I got a lot of people come to me, oh, well, a lot of managers come to me, oh, can he do it? Can he do it? I said, I'm sorry, but no, because that's not why I'm doing it.
Why you're doing it. Yeah.
I'm doing it to give people an opportunity.
Who don't have the connection.
Who don't have the connections, who might not have got, you know, who might not have, you know, who might not have had the opportunity for whatever reason. Some are a bit older, some have got kids or whatever, you know, some are really young, they've got no, you know, they haven't got any money to do it, whatever. So I picked 4 people, they're a mixed bag of mashings, it's all, you know, they're all mixed, so I feel like I've done the right thing there. So.
Yeah. And when is it happening? When's the show? Is it
13th of August, 28th of March?
Yeah.
Sorry, 13th of June, 28th of March, 8th of August, and something of July.
So there's 4 shows now.
So there's 4 shows now,
nice.
And I'm going to get more. And then what we're going to do is going to do a wild card, and I'm getting Sound Supply to help me with that. So I'm going to get more, and I'm going to try and get one every time I do a show. I'm going to try and get one.
Well, I think it'd be good if we came down with the cameras, interviewed a few of the people coming up, and made a bit of a thing about it.
What I'm going to show, that'd be great. What I'm going to try and do in America is I'm going to try and get the lineups every time I play, to pick someone to let people apply and pick someone local myself, because again, local DJs, they're all wrapped up, like the local venues are wrapped up by a close clique of people. Sure. So I'm going to try and do it. I feel like I could impose it. Like I say, I want to provide my own opener.
Right.
One of them before me, and I don't believe they'd try to stop me doing that. You know, so I'm always looking at ways that I can.
I like it,
and it's good, and it's also good content for me as well.
Yeah,
it's great content. It grows the fan base,
sure,
and it helps people at the same time. So everyone's on a win-win with that one.
Yeah, I think it's happened in the scene for ages. It's great. Somebody who's your kind of platform is giving back, and I've seen the response online. It's absolutely crazy.
But also, Loz, it's not like, look what I'm doing. I'm not a massive DJ, right?
Sure.
Yeah, people look at me and go, "Well, they don't like my mentality. Don't work like that. I'm not a massive DJ, right?" Yeah. People are a lot bigger than me, and people are a lot bigger than me don't bother doing it, and they could have a lot more impact than I have, you know. So I'm hoping that other DJs will look at what I've done, thought, oh, it's worked for him on Instagram, it's worked for him, you know, to grow his fan base, and we'll do it, and we'll give people a chance. That's what I'm hoping for as well, for other DJs to do it. But we'll see, you know, we'll see. You know.
And when you were looking, and have you chose them all yet? Or
I've chose them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was it that stood out? Because obviously there was a lot of people, and we talk about marketing DJing, we talk about uploading content, and if I'm booking you or I'm trying to look for a DJ in my area, you can't just have like 1 or 2 posts. You need to have a bit of effort in there. So what is it that you've found?
Well, I didn't want to do a mix competition where they all enter the mix, because that's a load of crap.
It's long.
Right, it's a load of rubbish as well, because anyone can enter a mix that anyone's made at any time. Sure. So that's a load of rubbish. So I wanted to just pick someone based on the vibe or energy that I got from them, and the fact that you know, we have a similar kind of mentality. They follow me, they comment on my stuff or whatever. I recognize a name or whatever, I've seen it, you know. And I just tried to pick people that I thought it would help. So a lot of people entered. A lot of big DJs entered. You know, 20, 30,000 followers entered. But I didn't want to give somebody who I thought might do it all right anyway.
Any on their own.
You know, do it in the end. You know, so I tried to get people who I thought they're not being given a shot. She's been at it 6 years. She's never had a shot, right? Why she never had a start the first Instagram post she ever made 6 years ago. She's trying to make music. She's trying to do it. She's never played anywhere big. You know, she'd be a good one. You know, the other guy's probably, I think he's 26, 27. He's been grafting away. He's enthusiastic. You know, he's not arrogant. You know, like it kind of like.
Yeah, nice.
I like to try and pick people that I think it'll help. You know, really, it's difficult. Like I say, when you're trying to give somebody something without, I can't exactly explain how I pick them. I pick them based on who I want to pick, but it's not someone that I know, and it's not done with any kind of, you know. Pretense, you know, any sort of like everybody enter it and then we're just going to pick people that I know. There's no point doing that.
Oh, nice, yeah. We'll follow it and we'll come down to a couple and just document it.
Anytime, Loz, you know that.
Amazing. When you were last in last year with the big talk, because you made your name through sort of the tech house scene, and you had some sort of thoughts on where it was going, and where do you think it's at now in tech house? Because your sound is you're quite open to your sound evolving, but you are quite. You've said before, it's quite easy if you can fit into a box, people know where to put you, you know, to speak to, etc. Are you still in that kind of mindset, or has your music evolved? Do you still consider yourself tech house DJ? Or
yeah, I think the problem with tech house now is you go to the Beatport Top 100 and it's surrounded by about 30 different genres in tech house.
In tech house,
you know, the offbeat bass thing's got massive kind of since Ob Mob did that tune. Then you got Max Stylo along with the offbeat basses, and then you got the runny basses coming in from John Summit. There's so many different kind of what you would define as being techno that are now in the tech house, or what you define as being minimal that's now in tech house. It's a difficult one to you know. Personally, I look at my own stuff and I go with what I like and how I feel about doing it. I don't try and fit into a genre. The one that I've done today is kind of like, so you've heard it, with tech house, with a little bit of kind of like EDM in it.
Well, I would consider EDM.
With a little bit of EDM in it and also a little bit of like almost crossover dance music in it. And I think it's important whilst I do often choose a reference song for arrangement, I do think it's best just to go your own way and do what you like. Try and copy somebody else and you will never get anywhere. You know, you could say, all right, I'll do 10 Clooney songs. How hard would that be? Not very, right? How hard would it be to copy what Clooney's done? Impossible almost. You know, you have, because he's authentically what he is. You know, and the same with Fisher. You know, Fisher's production's better than mine. You know, that's a matter of opinion, but the fact is it's authentic to what he does. You know, the same with Morris, with Mal P, they're authentic to themselves. And the people who do the best are the people who do things that are authentic to themselves. And at the end of the day, if you do what's authentic to yourself and you do what you like and you don't make it, then you're not supposed to make it. And it's as simple as that. What's the point in doing it all if you know, it's like I say, banging out loads of Afro house edits when you don't like it? What's the point? Where's the kind of reward in that? You know, what's your goal? To play as many shows, to get as much money, whatever? No, the goal's got to be happy doing it, get people to like what you do, you know, and kind of achieve something doing what you like. That's the goal. That's the goal. You know, if you want to achieve something doing what you don't like, go and get a job. You know, get money. Like, that's easy. You know, so.
It's a bit like you can say you'll see online like how to produce like Clooney, how to produce like Fisher. You want to become the person who the people are going, how to produce like X.
I mean, I've seen all that before with Chapter, actually, before with Chapter and Verse. But you know, the way I look at it, Loz, and this is how I am, and you know that everything I've done in the past is in the past. Like, and I have got to grow. The reason why I believe I have an advantage is because I can. I'm not arrogant, stuck in the ways of like, this is my song and it's best and all that sort of stuff. I genuinely believe that I can evolve what I'm doing. I can do better, you know, and if I can do better and evolve what I'm doing, then I'll always grow. How can I grow if I think I've made it, or I think I've got the sound that's better than everybody else's? You know, everything from yesterday's behind me. You know, today we start again. You know, and that's how it's got to be for me to grow. That's why I always grow. Well, I look at my Instagram and it's hard, man. Like, Instagram is hard. It's soul destroying, man. Like, you put things up, you take them down, and half an hour later you take them down again, and then you're like, oh, like I look stupid in that, or my hair's not right, or I've not got the right jumper on, or my face looks stupid. It's hard. It's very personal.
People wouldn't think that you would care about that stuff because you do put out so much. But it's there, right?
I also care. I care what people think. People go, I don't care what people think, but I do. Like, and everybody does. They say they don't care, they don't mean that. They just want people to think they don't care. But I think it's a kind of, over time you get used to kind of dealing with it. You get used to kind of dealing with it, and you get used to kind of people judging you because everyone's going to judge you,
Well, one thing I do love is like how you do deal with people. You like,
I think who it is.
Well, no, exactly. I think you're quite you've took up a quite a good stance on like dealing with haters online, and there's an interesting side to it because you want to once you start getting people chatting shit about you online, you've done something right. As long as you're doing, the thing that you want to be doing, but you deal with comments in a great way.
The fact of the matter, have you got to do?
I've just got some comments that you've replied to. Some guy, and his tag is 1210 sand proud or something. He's put grown man trying to be something he's not at house party.
Oh.
He doesn't even belong.
Ow.
Where were you when it was viral? And you just put, I'm not really sure how to respond to that.
Well, what do I say? What do I say to people who are putting that? But you know what? The haters thing the haters thing is, I've got mixed feelings about this. Haters things, actually, I find it funny. It doesn't hurt me at all. Believe you me, like, it doesn't hurt me, like, at all. I think it's good because it gets people to support me and stick up for me, because all my like followers are so cool. So they all stick up for me and give me more. It gets.
I like when you pin them and then you
pin them and let them go at them.
Then your followers can just
you
have
go
them.
and sort them out. But it kind of, I know it can affect some people, but dealing with it, I would, I put something up about having the haters and all that on my Instagram, and Fish Octagon messaged me.
Yeah.
So the message that I put on yesterday was from Fish Octagon.
Saw that.
I didn't put his name on it because I didn't want to put it on my Instagram. I feel like our conversation's private. It doesn't say. It doesn't actually say who it is on the Instagram. Obviously, I'm telling you now. But and he made me think. He made me just check and say, hang on a minute, he's right. Other people that are liking, commenting good things. I ain't got time to deal with them, but I've got time to deal with the haters. Fair. Why would I do that? And he's right.
Yeah.
And I think if you
it's a good perspective.
and I think if you have that, have that kind of attitude, and you say, well, and every day something comes along, and you check yourself, and you can take things on board, grow. Then you can grow. When you become arrogant, you become obnoxious. You stop growing, and then you fall behind. So
I get it.
The haters thing, I've used it to get a few more followers and stuff, and I'll continue to it's water for ducks back with me. Believe you me, because I don't care what they say.
No, it's interesting. It's like a human nature thing. We're not used to be subjected by people chatting shit about us, so it's like you get a visceral feeling, even though you'll get like 1,000 likes and then like 2 bad comments.
Yeah,
what is that?
Yeah, I mean the criticism that I have for myself far outweighs anything that anyone can say to me, and that. But that's everybody. It ain't just me. It's everybody.
Yeah.
But
it's literally.
But you do get used to dealing with that, and when you get used to dealing with it, it becomes a lot easier, and you become a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's took me a while. But I still have it these days, but I get it a lot less than I used to have,
But all these things are skills, right? It's like you have to become a good producer, you have to become good at networking, you have to become good at putting stuff out there that people aren't going to like, and then how do you deal with that? Like you say, you're constantly like uploading, checking, that didn't work, reiterate, but then it's like you don't just stop.
The fact is, it's about it's about everybody's not going to like everything.
Exactly.
The problem with Instagram is it's so hard. Like the algorithm's hard. You can put something up and I can put something up and get 100 likes, 50 likes, And I'm thinking, how on earth can I get that? Like, I can get 100,000 views, I can get 1 million views, but I'm only getting 100 likes. Then it makes you check yourself, and you think, but that's Instagram.
But and you take it down, you post it at 9 a.m, and then you get 1,000 likes, and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, you change the picture order, and you end up getting 10,000 likes. Like it's so difficult.
We had a couple of questions from some of your fan base, and some of the big ones are: we talked about like the kind of music you choose, and you've always said you've got to be totally authentic. I just want to go back to sort of getting through to labels. You played me a couple of voicemails earlier of people who are sending stuff out, they're just getting rejected. But is there anything you can do other than just to be a numbers game and you just have to like hammer them, or obviously the quality thing matters?
Well, let me tell you one thing, Loz. Right, I was at home last week, and I opened the fridge and I pulled out a punnet of strawberries. Yeah, and one of the strawberries was mouldy. Right. I put it back in. I put it back in the fridge. Yeah. I went back there after. They were all mouldy. Right. This is the true story. All the strawberries were mouldy. Yeah. And that's how I look at like your attitude. If your attitude is that where you go, oh, I can't do anything and all that, that will resonate on everything that you do. So if you have that piece of, you know, if you have that piece of negativity or that piece of like, you know, where you don't expect it to happen, that will spread to everything that you do, and you'll never ever do it. You know, you know, I forgot what question is now.
How do you get through to label?
Well, label, yeah. So the thing with labels is go bang at them and just say, listen, I've got an amazing song for you. Listen to this. You know, don't say, oh, I've got this song, I've just tried it, I've just not really finished it yet. Because I get a lot of that.
Oh, really? They send you a half-baked song?
No, what I get is they tell me, it's fully done, but they tell me, oh, I'd love your input, see what I can, you know, they send, and they're trying it for the right reasons, but they send it me and they're doubting the song.
Right.
So they're doubting it. So that molded strawberry is going to doubt everything else. Yeah. So as soon as they've doubted the song, you know, the profile's doubted, the self's doubted, the shows are doubted, you know, and that's how I look at it. You have to go into people and go, right, I've got this amazing
is the best song ever.
I've got the best song ever. You've got to be enthusiastic and you've got to believe in it. If you don't believe in it, it ain't going to work, you know, and like I say, everything don't work, but
I think there's a misconception in here on what a label's job is to be doing. I think that a lot of people have start getting to producing think that you make a tune, you give it to a label, and they make you famous, which is like obviously not how it works at all. But the labels are there to sort of facilitate and support you. But then you need to have a sort of career path ahead of you. You need to have stuff already in the tank. What's going to come next? What's going to come next? What's going to come next?
The thing with labels, you have to do it as a strategy. So you can either go one or two ways. If you're an artist, you can either go, right, I'm going to go with Tool Room, I'm going to go with Defected, I'm going to go with, you know, whoever, or you can say, right, I'm going to be an independent artist who goes through a number of different labels to grow my fan base. Right. That's how I did it. I did it by going to as many different labels as I could and nicking their fans. So nicking the label fans. So the Repopulate Mars, you know, then, you know, just about every label that there is. Solitoco, you know, Techni, Noizu's label, you know, Musical Freedom, Tiesto's label. And I've gone there and I've collected bit by bit fans that like my music. So it's not important to me how many I get, because the people that I get are the right people. So the people that I get are supposed to get from that fan base. I don't want the ones I don't want who don't like me. I don't want those people. They're no good. You know, I want the people who, you know, want to follow me and like the music. You know, so there's two ways to do it. Like I say, either get with or get a hit, but that's potluck. That's potluck. Nothing more than potluck. Timing. Believe me, potluck. You know, it's down to, you know, look at all of them. You know, and you can look at a few different people. Look at Malp, you know, look at John Summit, and then you can look at different ends of the spectrum for people who. I'm not going to say people who've done one and nothing else, because that's not fair. But there's people who've done one massive hit 2 or 3 years ago in the UK or whatever, and they've done nothing. They're struggling now. You know, so But yeah, I find what I do, and I still do it today, is send my music to as many labels as I can.
There you go.
And I get as many no's as possible, because I don't care about the no's. I just go, all right, thank you very much. I'll be back. Cheers. Yeah. I want to keep my toe in with them all. Yeah. I know that people like spinning get thousands a day. So I want to keep the direct line open. You know, they keep listening to me because they're scared they're going to not sign something that's going to be big. Yep. So they keep listening because they know I've got a fan base. So they keep listening. So if you can get into them, just keep at them. And eventually, you don't have the attitude like I used to have. Oh, we're not saying no more to them. They always say no. That's not the way.
Work.
No, if they say no, just go, all right, then, and keep sending them. You know, don't be having an attitude like, oh, well, fuck them then. That's not the way. That's not the way with artists. It's not the way with, you know, it's not the way with the shows. It's not the way with anyone. The way to do it is to gracefully accept what people say and say, fair enough, okay, and then try to get better and then make it as a challenge for yourself to try and, you know, achieve that, you know.
How do you do that then when you're so busy sort of touring? You just come back from Asia, you're doing done North America quite a few times. What's the sort of balance of a sort of touring DJ? Talk to me about the sort of Asia tour. That was, by the way, I want to put a poster on screen because I love the tour poster for that.
Like the problem with the Asia tour is that I didn't have a visa the first time.
Oh right.
So don't tell me about a visa. So I printed something off on the computer and I was like, yeah, I've got this visa thing. He's like, that's not a visa, that's a form. And then they kept me in customs for like hours.
Really?
And then they said, oh, you can have a transit visa, yeah. So I took the transit visa and it said 24 hours and I've got to leave country.
Oh, right.
So I thought, this don't look very good. Be careful what I say here. Okay, say here. So, and then the transit visa went missing, right? So I went back and went, you know, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, right.
3 days later.
He was still there.
And I was still there. And they were like, right, then I got banned from transit in China.
Right.
So then I had to make sure I've got a visa every time. But I didn't know about it. No one told me. My agent told me, manager didn't tell me, no one told me. So
you got there and you didn't know.
I got there, I didn't know. I turned up. I thought I'd be all right, but they weren't all right. but imagine, Loz. It's a long flight.
Oh, God,
I've got to do shows. I'm on my own, thinking, this is not very good. But there's a lot of stuff you have to tackle when you're on your own. I still do it all on my own. I'm not to the level yet where I do earn good money. I'm not to the level yet where I can afford to take somebody with me everywhere.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's down to me. I do a lot of it myself, as you know. I do a lot of stuff myself. But you do get a lot of time, and you can do a lot in a day if you it depends whether you're busy or not. It depends whether you're hell bent on doing it. If you're hell bent on doing it, you'll always find a way, won't you?
Yeah. Well, I saw it.
But China was wicked, mate. China was wicked. It's a wicked place. The hospitality is great. I'm going back there soon. And I was surprised. There's no Instagram in China. It's banned.
Yeah.
But a lot of them knew who I was, which is interesting because I didn't know. So I'm going there and they're like, oh, autographs and all this. So I was like, yeah. I still don't get used to that autograph picture thing. I still like stick on the face.
Yeah. I mean, I witnessed it firsthand when we got to Tomorrowland and we were like, we thought we had weekend tickets, but we only had a day ticket, and then you were on your phone for like 3 hours and we managed to get a weekend ticket.
Everything takes a long time. Everything's difficult, when you go on tour and stuff and you end up going backwards and forwards, some flights are late, your transport don't come sometimes, there's a lot. What was
that? I listened to a podcast you were in, I can't remember who it was, but you were telling a story about how you was awake for 3 days in North America.
I've done it loads of times. I'll tell you what happens. I'll tell you the problem in America is that if you go on a Thursday, you land on Thursday, right? So then you play on a Thursday night till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. End up flying somewhere like Chicago from LA, which is opposite side of the country, so it's like 10 hours difference or whatever it is. So the day's then gone, and then you get there at 7 o'clock at night or whatever. Then you end up going out for dinner, 10 o'clock, club at 1 o'clock, playing at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And you do end up doing that. But one thing I've learned to do is not go too heavy on myself. I used to go, I'm like Loz. All my life I've been hardcore with it all. I see all these people in the States going, oh yeah, I'm a monster. And I'm like, looking at them thinking, bro, I have done, for years I was bang at it, Loz, you've seen it before many times. Yeah. But what I've learned now is that you can't do that. You can't do that 70, 80 times a year because you end up dead. And a lot of the DJs, and I don't think it's a good example to set to a lot of the DJs either that you're with or that are watching, or that it's not a good look. It's not a good look when you're going to. I seen John Summit last weekend did a full tour. I don't know, maybe 5 days or something, but either way, without drinking, and it's a big accomplishment because it's hard because everyone's giving you everything you want, But when everyone's looking at you, people are looking at you to.
They're looking.
But you can ruin it for yourself.
Oh, big time.
I've ruined a few things for myself. I've made it harder for myself for the last 4 years. When I went to America, I was going hell bent every time. People were like, I can't book him. He's a psychopath. Right. But that's just a learning curve for me, Yeah. So I learn. I try to get better. I try to, take something positive out of it. And things always come good in the end anyway. But yeah, I don't go. I go steady, a lot steadier than I did. I changed my tequila from tequila to champagne. That's steady. That's a steadier and milk, and that's a compromise from me.
I feel like I observed it quite a lot when we were backstage at Tomorrowland. I feel like when you get to a certain level, the higher DJs they're fully aware of the situation they're in, so they don't go too hard. It's not like the culture's totally different. Like in the UK, like the DJs there, they're fully aware that like one wrong move and you're out of the circle.
I mean, I've seen it a lot. Like I've seen one thing, somebody do one thing, say one thing. I saw a guy smack Fat Tony. You see that?
I've seen that. That's that video.
He called him a puff and smacked him.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
He abused him for being gay and smacked him. Yeah. I was like, what? I was just Tony what's going on. He was like, oh, bro, some guy just twatted me. I was like, what? Like, at this day and age, it was so weird.
That's mental.
But I'm not saying that everyone does that. What I'm saying is anything that you can do anything, and someone takes it wrong way, especially in America, they're a bit, soft in that city. So you just, when you get to a certain level, everything you've done, you can lose in a heartbeat, and what happens if one day you're too much tequila and you black out and you do something that you don't even know what you're doing? Everything you've done's finished, so it's not, I'm not sacking it all for just a few drinks, I think I've had my share of drinks in my life.
Are you a goal setter, or are you like a day-to-day kind of guy? Have you got like, you're looking at this year thinking, right, got this. I need to do this tune with this person. Or is it like every day? It's like just let's
every day
hustle.
I am hammer and tongue right at it. I mean, I've got enough releases till July next year. I've got a song with me, Dimitri Afrojack. I've got a song with me, Steve Aoki. Song with me and Eloise, which is a great song called Club Rat. It's a wicked. I've got another one with Meryl, Steve Aoki. I've got some really good stuff coming, so I know I'm all right, but that doesn't change anything for me.
No.
It doesn't change the way I operate. I still grow the fan base. I still try my best. I still keep doing things. I still keep trying to think of things to grow the fan base, to get more shows. It's hard getting shows, man. People don't realise. And people say, "Oh, you're spoilt getting shows." Believe me, I have to fight for every show. Tomorrowland, I had to pull a few strings to get on it again. Creamfields, I had to again pull a few strings to get on it. And a lot of the UK and American tours are all taken up by the bigger agents like Wasserman and like United Talent, and they're all closed. If you look at them all, and then they're politically based on what management you've got. So if if they've got Calvin Harris, they'll bang someone else on 360 on it, and they'll get first dabs and all this sort of thing. It's all very political, which can be soul destroying sometimes. I look at some of the lineups, think, you've never done anything, but like I can't even get on the show. But you just got to keep going at it. Eventually, this is the way I think. Eventually, they won't have a choice. And James Hype's an example of that. Eventually,
that's a good point.
They don't have a choice. And when they've not got a choice, then they can't keep saying no. You need to make it impossible for them to say no.
Yeah, you need to make it stupid for them to say no. If they're going to put you on a lineup, you're going to bring 1,000 people. There's not a venue in the world that won't book you.
Exactly, but I keep going about fan bases, but grow your fan base. Fan bases win. Look at Fish Octagon. It's a fan base thing. It's nothing to do with production talent. It's an energy.
It's not to do with labels.
It's not to do with labels. It's energy. And it's growing your fan base. And if you can do that, then that, even more important than the music, everybody can bang out a tune a year or 2 tunes a year. Anyone can do that. It's all about how you deliver it to market. And if you can find a unique way to deliver it to market, like Hato DJ, like Fish Octagon. Look, Fish Octagon's getting main stages in places, man, out of nowhere. Fair play to him. Yeah, but he's grafty, man, and fair play. And he's very authentic, and he's very authentic. He's a nice guy. I know him. He's not like arrogant. That's because he's a bit older, but the biggest advice is to grow your fan base no matter what. And then while you're doing that, hone your skills in the meantime, behind closed doors, learn to DJ properly, learn to produce properly,
But yeah, I think a few years ago, let's go back 5+ years ago, Instagram, for example, or any social media, it was all just like seeing the good stuff on it. It was just like, I've got a photographer who's got a $5,000 camera, and he's doing a show reel of me, and like that's it. But now it's like, why you've done so well as well. It's just like people just want to know the fuck you are, right? It's like authenticity.
It's the stories and stuff. And let me tell you, if you're going to be a DJ and you want to be a DJ producer, you want to be successful, believe me, back yourself and film yourself from the beginning.
Yes,
that is so. The content that I have from the beginning, I've only got about 4 videos.
iMac at a pub.
I'm not joking. Them videos between the 4 videos between them, iMac, that one where I'm in my bedroom.
The millions.
I've done about 50 million between them, right? Yeah. If you're starting out, even in your first year or whatever, film everything. It is so valuable. It is so much more valuable than Tomorrowland footage. I see loads of artists posting all this swanky footage, and it does not work. What works is the authentic journey that you're on. The journey's better than the prize.
People want to believe that they can do it.
Yeah.
If I see you on Tomorrowland at main stage, I'm like, well, there's no way I can fucking get there.
But I want people to believe they can do it. Like,
that's what
I want to show them that they can do it, because they become the people that kind of like support you the most, because they feel like they're on the ride as well. I want people to look at me and go, I can do that, because they can. For a start, it is possible. It's not easy, but it is possible because I've done it, and who am I?
100%.
And that's how it is.
I see people in your comments like, I'm 46, I've just got a controller, I'm 51, like I've just got 2 festivals and stuff, and it's real. Like, this shit's real. We had a message the other day, I'm 29, I've just got a Flex 4, I've been DJing a year, watching Crossfader, I've just done 2 festivals. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah, but that's why you do it, but the people who fail, the people who don't believe, like they don't believe themselves really. They're kind of like going, oh yeah, but the people have bad days, but I remember Scott Lowe said to me when I first started, he said I went in the studio to do some tutorials, And he said to me, he said, Barry, the only way you're going to do this is if you go 110%, the kitchen sink, everything. Everyone's trying to do it. You know, you're 40 years old, man. He says, it's going to be tough. He said, but if you throw everything you've got at it, you know, then you've got a chance. And that's the way you've got to throw every single thing. And any bit of negativity you've got to forget about, and you've got to just carry on and carry on and carry on. You know, that's the only way to do it. You know, and if you're going to be like, oh, well, but fuck off, you know.
Yeah,
that is no that's not even like, oh, what if, so who cares about all this shit, man? Just forget about it. Something's not working, whatever. If I kicked off every time I got a no, or I got a you know, festival which didn't put me on the festival, you know, or just, you know, didn't get on a label, I spend my life crying. But I don't look at it like that. I look at it as a red rag to a bull, and that's how I do it. You know, I got a fire in me, a fire in my belly, which won't ever stop until I've achieved what I want to achieve.
Do you think you'll do you think you'll start to show that a bit more on your social media? You know, like the sort of struggles about it, like, you know, getting rejected from labels, or you're making a tune or something like that, and it's not gone well. Do you think that you'll continue to sort of tell that story through?
It's difficult. Socials? It's difficult because because bear in mind how busy I am.
Sure.
So then you've got people who are booking you and people who are getting the labels who don't really care. So you're kind of like trying to build a fan base. But you're trying to have a good appeal, curb appeal. It's difficult. If you're like, well, this is what I'm doing, you know, like an X Factor a contest at where my uncle died when I was 3 or something. You know, like nobody really cares.
You got to balance it.
It's difficult. You've just got to balance it. If I start going, oh, labels say no, they're going to go, oh, labels say no to them, and I might not get any records signed. Do you know what I mean, Loz? Yeah. But I try to be as authentic as I can. I try to kind of give a real insight to what it's like, you know, and I feel like, you know, a lot of people find that useful because I get a lot of messages about it.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think you think this is it forever now? Do you think this is you? Because you had businesses before and stuff like that. Do you think you'll ever? Is there a plan to be like, oh, I'll get to this time?
I haven't done anything that I wanted to do yet. I know people are like, oh yeah, you play everywhere, but that's not achievement for me. What achievement for me is to like be happy in what I'm doing and be satisfied with what I've done for myself. So no money.
Do you think that can ever happen though?
No money. Yeah. But when I do that, I will use it in the right way. I won't be like, oh, look at me, I'm going to ponce about, and you know, look at me, I'm going to be a diva, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'll never be like that. I've seen too much of life, Loz, to do that. Yeah. You know, my thing will always be to try and leave things in a better place than when I was before, because that's my legacy. Yeah. You know, I want to be that person that kind of. People say, "Oh yeah, he's done it, but he's a good guy." I just want to be a good guy.
Yeah,
you know? I don't want to like be like the biggest person in the world who gets paid the most money. You know, do I think I will be? Yeah. Do I believe in myself? Yeah. Am I arrogant about it? No, because I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Arrogance means, oh well, you know, I'll just walk in there, it'll just happen. Well, it won't. It'll only do it if I carry on. You know, and I believe that if I carry on, or anybody else does it in the same blueprint, like I said to you earlier, you could probably just get just about anybody to do it, but they've got to be willing
to do it,
to walk through the shit every single day, you know. And they've got to be, you know, like I go to America, do these things. People go, oh my God, you've been to America, do these things. Who else is going to go to America for 4 days, you know, for not a lot of money really, by the time tax and all your flights come off and all that, you know, and not have no sleep for 4 days. And who's going to do that? Who's going to do that? You got to then come back and go straight to studio, come back and have your own family commitments, have your own life on the side of that, and then go through this, you know. So if you want to do it, you've got to be prepared to go through it. You know, I am prepared to go through it. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, I've got a lot more. I feel like I'm 2 or 3% in. Yeah. And I swear.
Yeah. I can attest to that as well, because when we were at Tomorrowland, you were DJing, you had an early set, and you were, and I think anyone in your position would be like, oh my God, I'm DJing at Tomorrowland, and you were just like, well, next year I'll probably be on a later time and have more people coming in. It just wasn't like a set.
I was like, Loz, come on, let's get some pictures. Let's get pictures of people who are famous, so we can stick them like we're friends.
What shows we got this year then? You got you doing the Ministry of Sound thing, which I'm excited about to see how that goes. You're doing Creamfields again. You got you going into America again?
America. Next show, America, is New York. Then I've got a festival in Florida. Then I've got a full American tour. So wait for the artwork for that. I've got a good idea for the artwork.
I liked the Asia artwork.
It's going to be like Catch Me If You Can. You know, like what's his name on that film with his briefcase?
Caprio.
Yeah, well, it's going to be good. and then I've got some Canada, and then I've got China again. Then I've got Tomorrowland, but it's not been announced yet.
Oh right, nice.
Yeah. And we just keep going, you know. I don't want to do shows every week, but I want to do quality shows. I try to kind of give people a bit of insight to what I'm doing as well. But you know, the goal for this year is to get to to the point where I can get a tour manager. That's my goal this year, you know. And then if I get a tour manager, then
you can focus on.
Well, it gets a lot easier because everything's about you know, if the social media is good, you know, I see people spending a lot of money on it, you know. And when people get hits, get a good tour manager, get a good photographer, and that's how you get your followers. You know, look at them. That's how they all do it. So that's the old goal for this year.
Nice.
You know, get to a size where I can get a tour manager,
Nice.
and then to keep putting records out, keep getting better. You know.
What records you got out at the minute?
103. So I got out. So the next one out is going to be Boss It, which is kind of an offbeat thing, which is on Ultra. Oh no, it's not. It's Jump and Shout. Which is out
Jump and Shout. I was going to say.
Jump and Shout's out
on
next.
Instagram
Jump and Shout. Jump and Shout's out next Friday on Myth of Nix.
Yeah,
which is the same one as Lights Go Out and Ashes. So that always does well. We always do well with that one. And then a few weeks later, we've got Boss It, and then we've got a cover of Spacer. Sheila from 1970, whatever it is, or whatever, and then every 3 weeks until Christmas
on it,
and every 3 weeks on lots of different labels, because that's how you get penetration, you know. So just keep putting stuff out, and I haven't changed a bit since I last saw you. To be fair, you know, it's been hard to get past 100k. It's tough when you get to like 90 something. It's tough, man.
It stops.
I don't know why. It's like just honestly, I was like getting like 3 a day followers, and I was like, how come it's weird how it stopped, and it starts to go up a little bit when you get past 100. But all mine are hard grafted. I mean, this month I've had 5 million views on my Instagram. You know, it's a lot. You know, it's a lot. 5 million is a lot. I don't know, you know, for one person like me, no one else logs into my Instagram. It's all myself. You know, I reply to all the messages, the DMs. I get hundreds a day, man. I feel bad about all the songs people send me. I'm like, yeah, check it out, bro. I'm like,
yeah. It's just the time, though.
How can you check out 100 songs that are 3 minutes long? That's 300 minutes.
Yeah. But don't stop sending the songs.
Don't stop sending them. And that's why I do occasionally. I'll go on Instagram and go, thanks for messaging me. I can't reply to all, but please keep messaging me, because I do see them all, but I can't reply to them all because it's humanly impossible for me to reply to them all on my own, because I do so much myself. Bear in mind, I'm doing all sorts of stuff every day. I do stuff every day. I don't ever leave it. I'm always bang at it, and that's how you've got to be to stay. It's the next step for me is to go to the next level, which is even harder. You know, so it's not like I've made it now.
People think it gets easier.
Oh, fuck, you're joking. Think about the tunnel of how small the number of people. That's like saying when you get into Premier League, it's easy.
Exactly.
You know, like, you know, how many DJs is there at my level? Probably, you know, I don't know, a few thousand, maybe a few hundred in tech house, right? You know, it gets harder. I know it does, and then you become surrounded by people who've got a lot more money than you, and labels that are a lot more invested in you, and all that sort of thing.
And you got people. Then you got to start to have teams of people who rely.
Then you get people who try and stop you because they look at you and they go, "Oh, look, he could be big, and he could." So he's taking my playlist, and that's what happens a lot. A lot of the bigger DJs, they're like cliquey. I mean, I don't belong to any cliques. I'm not interested. I don't need anybody else. I'm going to do what I'm going to do myself. And if I get into a clique, then nothing's worth anything to me. So if I get into a clique, you know, with a massive artist, and then they help me, then I've not achieved anything. I might as well not bother. I won't bother. I'd rather not do it. I'd rather not do it than get a handout. You know, than get some big DJ to pull me through. I'd rather not do it because that's not authentic. That's someone doing you a favour. That's like special handshakes. I'm not interested. No. So everyone knows that about me anyway.
Everybody knows that.
And not everyone likes it, but I don't give a.
The people you've told me you've turned down is just like, you know, crazy.
Whatever. And then they get to be in the bonnet, and then they're like, don't give you a chance. But whatever, man. Like, I keep doing it the way I do stuff with the best intentions. So I'm not concerned about, you know, my ability to do it. We'll see, won't we?
No, I think you are. I think you do have the best intentions, though, because, like I say, when we were hanging out together and stuff, you just went and spent time with every single DJ there.
Running about it.
Yeah, but
where we're going next, right?
You're not after anything, right? You're just having a chat and you're showing up, and you were like, "Oh, Mr. Jam's here. Let's go and see him. The odd boss is here." And you were just like running about, and like we had a whole weekend there, and you had an hour set, and every other hour was spent going and networking and having a chat
but a lot of people like genuinely want you to go and watch the set. Just let me show your head and you look like you're there. They'll be like, "Oh, he's made the effort to come," and it means something to somebody.
He did make the effort, though,
and it means something to somebody. You know, it means something to me. So I think if I was in the other foot,
definitely.
You know, if it was in the other, you know, and they came to mine, I'd appreciate that. So I'll just try to do things that, you know, I feel like are right that I do myself. You know, so.
That's a nice positive note to end. Mate, thank you so much for coming in. I want you to come and do a mix for us. We just started a new mix channel.
Well, I told you I'm busy today, mate.
I know, not today, but when you're less busy, come and do a mix for us. And yeah, I'm excited to see the Ministry Sound and the shows and stuff this year. And we'll come and support and stuff like that. But yeah,
keep going, mate. We'll reconvene this time next year.
Yeah, see where we're at
when I've done what I said I'm going to do.
When you got a tour manager and it's levels. All right, thanks, mate.
Cheers, bro.
Legend, bro. Nice one.
Cheers, brother.